Slamcast of the new era of WWE. I am your host, Brandon Liggan, joined as always by Broken Michael Burhan and Nick Horaceck. Gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the new era. Does it feel good?
Hey, folks.
Does it feel all warm and tingly?
It was enjoyable. As someone who's watched all WWE programming this week, it was enjoyable, and I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. But you know, I'll leave you to lead the conversation so we can actually start talking.
Before we get there, let's see how we got there. And Battleground, well, let's go right into it. Battleground was better than I thought it was going to be. A lot better than I thought it was going to be.
We had a great highlight reel with Orton. The way they that RKO got teased the whole fucking...
and also, Jericho, that was big. We'll talk about the 5 talking points out of that. That was, the return of Randy Orton was a big deal. And
no enhancement needed.
It was a rare, great promo from Randy Orton. Like, how often do we say that?
I know. It's like, but you have a death wish, Mr. Orton.
Legitimate shots fired against Brock Lesnar. We shouldn't also say Jericho just keeps on getting better and better week after week.
He's arguably on the best run of his entire career, and that's including the 2008 run when he had that heel turn with Shawn Michaels in that series. Like, holy shit, he's
so good.
He's rejuvenated.
Yeah.
It's a career resurgence for just Chris Jericho, because when he came back against Punk, I felt that he was just kind of, there. And I think that's why he came. Yeah. Well, I think that's why he came back again, because he could do it. B, he said there was more he could give, and that last run really wasn't his best. And this right now is as good as he's ever been. Yeah, I will agree with Nick. Whether that is his best, who knows? But as good as he's ever been. # Muttonhead.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Just more week after week. Just goes to show you, anybody he's in there with, whether it's promo, ring-wise, he makes them look like $1 million.
Exactly. Speaking of look like $1 million, that opening tag match, that women's tag match, which, again, it was pretty obvious who Sasha's partner was going to be.
Yeah. After it was the start of the weekend of load explosion that the internet was collectively having.
Yes.
That was just the first. The match was great. I think it was kind of ultimately overshadowed by what happened
the next night, but
this
was
just in that match. Now, people a lot of think what's going to happen next with Bayley, and then this happens with Sasha, where we'll tell you what we'll talk about that later.
This was definitely a test to see how the main crowd was going to react to Bayley, and she got one of the biggest pops of the entire night. So,
maybe of the whole weekend,
right?
Or 3-day extravaganza
streak of 8 hours of WWE programming, and that's not including the other 2 with the Cruiserweight Classic and NXT.
Oh my God! So we're just it's like 12 hours, 16 hours of programming. Because Raw is 4 hours, 3 hours. Pay-per-view was almost 3 hours.
3-hour pay-per-view, 2 hours SmackDown,
Oof.
Hour of NXT, hour of the Cruiserweight. I will go and watch this week's Cruiserweight Classic, and
10 episodes of 10 hours of WWE programming in a 3-day block.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of product to consume for even the most hardcore of wrestling fan. Even I don't think I could watch 12 hours in 5 days.
NXT was kind of a sore fest this time,
We're in the build.
They're trying to rebuild the brand back.
Right, we're in, and we're also starting to get to that build to the next takeover. I know we did have Kota Ibushi debut on NXT.
Which, I actually start talking about that. That is kind of a story that has been brewing. Ibushi has been offered a contract from WWE.
Yes.
There is more that he wants to do in Japan before I think he goes over to America. He says he wants to bulk up the heavyweight, win the IWGP heavyweight title, and then have a anywhere in the street match in Tokyo Street in front of 10,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want to see that happen too. So if he wants to go do that and then come over to WWE, brother, go do it. Go do that.
But this is definitely an introduction then, because he's in the Cruiserweight Classic. He's debuted in NXT.
He is my pick. I mean, if I had to pick somebody so far, he is my pick for the winner of the Cruiserweight Classic, I think.
Is he going to be him or Zack Sabre?
It's gonna if it's possible for him for that Zack Sabre Jr. Kota Ibushi final.
I think it is. They're both on different sides of the bracket.
There we go. So that's my pick.
So that's
my pick. Anyway, so that's just on the Ibushi front. Let's talk about the Bullet Club John Cena match, because I thought we had another talking point with this was the continued promo dominance of Enzo Amore.
God. Never make eye contact with anyone when you're eating a banana.
Yeah, I mean,
God.
Enzo, you know, people keep saying, like, Vince and his followers keep saying that Big Cass is going to be the big star of the two. You know what? I think Enzo is going to be the big star of the two. That guy can freaking the fact that Cena.
I think Cass has the size and the athletic ability. He is the prototype WWE guy, and he does have some microphone skills. So he's a little bit of the perfect WWE guy, so to speak. But Enzo Amore is so talented on the microphone that he's going to keep himself in a conversation and keep himself relevant forever. Yep. I mean, somebody who can talk.
I would say in several retrospects, he is to WWE what John Cena was. He was the guy that they didn't think would be the company guy. You know, John Cena was on the cusp of being fired.
Could you imagine Enzo Amore at 15 times? Oh my God, I couldn't even. Bro.
But that's the thing. Enzo, you know, Triple H was the guy that saw something in Enzo. Enzo went into NXT being a guy who was green as hell. He never had any wrestling ability or any prior wrestling training. He was just a guy that used to train Triple H at his gym.
He was the DJ for NXT.
Yeah, and now look at him. And he's a guy who's kind of taken all the elements of what it is to be a good wrestler and fine-tuned them. And I think as someone who can see a lot of talent in him, I always believe he's going to be in the upper echelon conversation. Unless he gets, like, he injures himself like a million times over, or he's at that point where he's not healthy enough to wrestle a full-time schedule. Yeah. I can see him being the guy, but not expected to be the guy. And as I said, same was said for Cena. Cena was seen as, from Vince's side, as the guy that wasn't meant to be the company guy. And he was
because Brock Lesnar was supposed to be the guy, and Randy Orton was supposed to be the guy, and then here was this, you know, Batista was supposed to be the guy, and then here's John Cena, you know.
Yeah, the face that runs the place.
Yeah,
Batista was always the guy that would kind of think he had promo ability, but he was very deadpan. Big Cass actually reminds me a lot of Batista in the sense where he can cut better promos, but his promos are very, very deadpan. You know, he utilizes them in that way as well.
I think Enzo is so charismatic. Some of his charisma bleeds over to Cass, and Cass just can't help but be charisma. Yeah, I have a very kind of like interesting. I don't really, because I don't want to talk. I feel like it's like slacking off Big Cass, but there were people that I know, and I'm not going to name names on the podcast, that trained with him in House of Glory or the Doghouse or wherever he trained over here by me, and he was not as willing to bump for people or at all, so to speak, was the knock on him. And then all of a sudden now this guy gets signed, and now he's in the thing, and some people are very bitter. Very bitter. Over.
The thing is, as I said, he's got talent. He looks like a guy who's got the size and the talent to be something great. I don't think he's the guy. And I think the problem is because Vince and co keep wetting their pants every time they see him and think, oh my God, he's going to be the guy. He's kind of one of those old school, outdated types in terms of who the guy's going to be. Like, for instance, currently the guy in the company, Dean Ambrose.
He's Test with a Brooklyn accent. That's how I describe Big Cass.
And less steroids.
Test with a Brooklyn accent.
And less steroids.
Yes. Much less.
Yeah.
Well, it's like fucking this idea that he's big and tall, he's going to be the guy. I guarantee you that's what Vince is thinking with Braun Strowman, the way he murdered that local competitor on Raw. Jesus Christ.
But again, Strowman,
Franklin the Turtle.
He's not one of those guys that's ready. Yeah, he's not ready to be in that position yet. And I think that, keep giving him squash matches, fine, but then he's going to be the same.
Braun Strowman, mad segue, Braun Strowman segue. Did you see that video? Was it you that posted, Nick, of Braun Strowman doing the back? Okay, if he could do that in the ring, Jesus Christ. I mean, his form was a little wild and stuff like that, but if he could imagine a guy that big doing a moonsault.
Oh, God,
and
Vince
again,
is going to lose
his
balls are
yeah, Vince will basically blow a gasket because Big Show did something similar, and Vince went, yeah, you see you doing that again? He goes, you do that again, you're fired.
Not doing that again, damn it.
Yeah. So, but, going on to that, those kind of types of guys anyway, and talking about that.
I mean, Enzo has consistently, week in, week out, been one of the best parts of WWE program because of these promo marathons that he goes on. And when John Cena yields the floor to you, you have arrived. You, sir, have arrived. Welcome to the big time.
But I think Cena also sees it. Cena sees the it factor from this dude. He knows.
No, he's not an idiot. John Cena's not an idiot. Nope. John Cena knows when someone's over with the crowd and when someone can get a big pop from a crowd. And what did he do? I mean, this wasn't the week when he did all the presidents, was it? No. That was the other week.
Yeah, like, what the hell? Like, I couldn't remember that.
No, but I forget what it was this said on Sunday. Other than the banana thing, and it was just continued promo gold, and will be a dare we say a shoe-in for the Slamcast Award, recognizing excellence, outstanding achievement in the field of excellence.
As I said, one of the best promo guys in the business right now is Mr. Enzo Amore, and I believe.
The winner of the that's what we're going to call it.
Give him another draft or two, and they'll end up splitting the two of them up maybe next year or so after they get a match from the tag titles.
I don't even think that's going to happen, man. I think Enzo will maybe be phased out because, if he was as good on the mic as he was in the ring, he would be a world heavyweight champion already right now. There would just be no.
I disagree. I think right now they're testing the waters to see how they do as a tag team because they want to keep the two of them together because they're trying to give Big Cass that rub from Enzo. They're trying to make him as good as Enzo is on the mic. I think that's probably the reason why they're keeping the two of them together. Yeah. And secondly, I think they want to give these guys to be the face of the tag team division. Once the New Day finishes, you're going to have another big team that's the face of the tag team division. I think that's going to be Enzo and Big Cass. Oh yeah, what's in the titles in the Women's Championship if they're going to roll them over to SmackDown as well as Raw? All we know right now is, we've got this amazing talent. It's a great, I will say this is a great year to be alive as a wrestling fan. I said this on the forum recently. We've got so much programming from wrestling going on at the moment.
Season
3 of Lucha Underground will start on September 7th. So that's
and so many of the boys, Brandon, so many of the boys from the Indies are getting jobs now. Nearly everyone
is 2016 the best year that the wrestling business has ever had?
Yes. Don't look at ratings. You
gotta look at what has been done. I mean, other than '96, with the start of guaranteed contracts and all the guaranteed money from ECW.
The rise of Austin 316, the rise of the NWO.
That has events that have happened in just this last 7 months alone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been an incredible year for wrestling, and I can only imagine what the next 7 months.
Of course, and think about it. So many talents are getting paid. You've got the Bullet Club, right? Who are basically the biggest team in the industry right now. Who have bled over to, freaking New Japan. They're basically wrestling for Ring of Honor. Yeah, they've got 3 companies going on with Bullet Club. You've got guys getting paid just as good as you would get paid in the WWE on the indies. That's never happened before. That's not even happened since the days of Ric Flair when there was territories. Do you know what I mean? Yep. Look at it now and look at the way that the system is working for the wrestlers. It looks a lot better, and it is a lot better. And I think in terms of what we're seeing right now, the WWE is trying to get their hooks in a sense, to try and secure talent away from the independents in hopes that they can break the system. But it can't, because the competition's there. And I think kind of another reason why they're doing this whole brand split thing is because they're trying to compete with all these other products that are coming out. Ring of Honor, that's the de facto number 2. You've got New Japan Wrestling. Again, that's kind of on the same keel as Ring of Honor, as the de facto number 2. You've got TNA Wrestling, who are just trying to save themselves from bankruptcy as we speak.
But here's the thing is, TNA might be doing the most avant-garde thing in wrestling right now with whatever Matt Hardy.
Yes.
Basically, Matt Hardy's batshit crazy show. That's kind of what it is.
It's like you can't turn away. You cannot fucking turn away from what Matt Hardy is doing.
It's a show that never ends. Like, at this point in time, they should just give Matt Hardy his own show. But I see what you're saying. But we've moved on digressing, because this is a part of the talking points of this Battleground show that I want to talk to. Did Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have a match of the year?
Yes.
At this point, it's either that or Sami Zayn and Nakamura from TakeOver. It's definitely, if it's not number 1, it's right there with number 2. But we're at the point, we don't know. We still got 4 months left out of the year.
And I will say,
it is a match of the year contender.
If they have this as the finale, as the one that's kind of the end of their feud, it was brilliant, especially when he just gave him that hell of a kick, lifted him back up, shoved him on the turnbuckle, stared at him, and then went and did another one.
Kicks him in the face again.
Is when Kevin was like sliding down his chest, stuff like that. That's where the facial reactions of this match. I mean, there were matches. This match was so artful. I thought the botch where Sami Zayn looked like he kind of botched the moonsault.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Looked fucking nasty.
I thought that was engineered. That looks like they engineered their own. All I'm saying is that he either knew he fucked that up and recovered very quickly to just barely save his ass, or he fucked that up intentionally because the way he fell, like he fucked up that bounce off the ropes. You don't often get that secondary bounce. You have to you have to have the control of your body to not bounce far and then come back off and do another one and then that was a very scary moment for me watching that match. Oh my god, is this guy gonna do it? But then I'm like, me and Tone were watching it, and we just kept looking at it stuff did they just engineer that? That's way too. I gotta it's one of those things where we gotta someone's gotta sit down and have the true definition of whether that actually is fucked up. But that match, holy crap.
Fantastic.
And now that it appears that they're done with this whole feud or whatever, you know what I want, and I'm being really, really jealous because I'm selfish, very selfish, because I don't want this to end. I want a Steen Jericho reunion.
Oh God. Holy shit.
Come on.
I know a lot of people want to see Zayn versus Owens continue, but I think this should be the end of it for now. Maybe
because you can revisit it over a title.
Yeah, maybe over the US Championship later on.
That's what I'm saying. At some point in time, if there's ever another tag team title introduced,
Which I hope not, to be honest. But
if there's like ever a tag team tournament or something like that, and like two people have to be thrown together, please.
Kind of a reluctant teaming. I like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They basically skin Jericho when they together in ROH. I mean, come on, man, that would be.
But I think the feud is this feud has become so much of a blood feud that I don't see it working unless they do one of those dodgy John Cena tags with whoever kind of things where
This kind of thing's really Austin
maybe 2 weeks later. Yeah, and it's kind of
in for a couple weeks, like.
Yeah, and I think it devalues the tag team championships if they do that.
I don't know. I think it enhances the tag team titles because then that guy. It shows how well Austin was competing. Austin and Michaels are like when Nash and Shawn Michaels were going after the tag titles. Like I think that only enhances the titles. That's just me. But please don't end this match. My fifth and final talking point. Right? That's what we talked about Bailey. And okay, that was fourth.
Yep.
That was the fourth.
Yeah, it seems...
This will be both 4 and 5 will both be from the main event. Were we surprised with the ending of the match? Because I think a lot of people thought one thing was going to happen, and then the fact that we got this finale was surprising.
Even though I did call it, you did call it also ended up playing into what happened on Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
But this was definitely a really good match. It's that Shield triple threat that we've all wanted for a while, and Roman ate the fall.
Maybe could have. Maybe could have been the WrestleMania main event. That was my fifth and final talking point. Roman Reigns now has lost cleanly in the pay-per-view and then lost cleanly in the main event on Raw, which we'll talk about later.
Yep.
Has he now finished eating the shit sandwich?
I don't know. I don't think quite
yet,
in that he's not going to be pushed right to the moon.
Well,
I think what needs to happen is he's eating his shit, and he's now going to have to work his way up to in the favor with the fans, which I believe the only way he'd be able to do that is if he goes and punches Vince Russo in the face, but that's never going to happen.
Bro, why would you do that, bro? Why are you punching me in the face? Have you seen the thing now where Vince Russo, who now lives in the state of Colorado, where you can buy marijuana legally, now gets down and smokes weed and then he's smoking legitimate Colorado professional medical grade weed. Trying to get high, trying to watch the WWE crowd. I'm like, Vince, this is what I've been doing for years, man.
I think he's finally snapped. He's realized there's a severe lack of polls in WWE programming.
There's a severe lack of polls and people trying to fight for things on top of things. There's not nearly enough things on top of things in professional wrestling. You like cages on top of cages, people on top of forklifts, things on poles. Those are the people fancy schmoz finishes and screw jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah. Anyway.
So that this moves us on to Monday Night Raw, which I thought
new set, new opening theme. New Corey Graves is fucking fantastic. By the way,
Monday Night Raw needed to be an absolute home run, and fuck me, was it ever?
Yep, we have they've decided it's going to be the WWE Universal title, so Raw is going to have its own title.
Yeah, all right, and that was big news. I am scratching my head though at the title.
I know myself, but
yeah,
I get the thinking of Raw needing to have its own title.
I understand that. Raw absolutely needs to have a specific title for it if it does not have the world title. And I'm not even saying bring the world heavyweight title back into current guard because we've already seen that.
That would have made more sense, though.
I don't think it
would have made more sense if they brought.
I don't think so because they already made a big deal about unifying those belts.
Yeah, exactly. I remember they had the whole thing as everybody that was in the
Jericho
company
versus Rock versus Austin, right, versus Angle for the Undisputed Championship. They unified the belts before, and then they reactivated the belt. This is the thing, right? And this is the thing. This is my counter-argument here.
The third time, though. That would have been the second time doing it a third time.
It doesn't matter. There's a lineage of the title. The title has a very big lineage. I would rather... Look, so many people sit there and go, let's bring back the Cruiserweight Championship because the Cruiserweight title has huge lineage apart from the fact that it was shat on by Hornswoggle, which looks like that's...
Well, no, it's also shat on by Great Khali. So we're in... It's like
And I agree with you, but at the same time, the guys, the history behind that championship, again, Batista, Cena, Ziggler, again, you've had so many of these guys who have held the World Heavyweight title, the reign of Triple H, which was god-awful, but, Goldberg. You have so many of these guys that have held the World Heavyweight Championship, and the title means a lot to those brands. By creating the Universal Championship, it doesn't sound like a World Heavyweight title. That's my problem. Give it any other name, not the Universal Championship.
It literally sounds like a video game title.
Yes.
WWE 2K16 creative title mode. It's Raw. The Universal Championship.
It sounds like like a 6-year-old kid would basically sit there and go, I am the Universal Champion of the world.
I'll even go one further. I shit you not. We had a Universal Championship in NBW. Well, it's just one of our guys. We had my friend Rob, God love him, was a big fan of just Shredder and just that like hyperbolic kind of villain. So he's a big guy, and we basically put him in a La Parka mask and like a robe, and he like Shredder meets Skeletor meets that just kind of 80s cartoony villain, and we called him Phantom Ghost. Phantom Ghost won a title, which Phantom Ghost in Spanish is kind of redundant. It'd be Phantasma. That's just a joke. He had the title so long, he just started calling it the Championship of the Universe.
But again, it's like...
he is MVW Champion of the Universe.
But again, it's one of those things like the FTW Championship. It doesn't mean anything.
It just want his own belt.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean anything. It's...
I want to have this belt. Okay,
yeah, imagine trying to sell that match and say, I want to be the Universal Champion because it's the most important championship in the company.
World Champion.
Yeah, it's like, this is the most important belt to me in the company. I want to be this champion. Imagine Kevin Owens sitting there going, I've trained my life to be the WWE Universal Champion. To me, it doesn't sound like a world title, and that's the problem. You've got the Intercontinental Championship that sounds like more of a fucking world title than the Universal Championship.
Kevin Owens would be like, I trained all my life to be a WWE champion.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
An indefinite article.
They could have called it. This is the thing. They've got Dean Ambrose on SmackDown being called a WWE World Heavyweight Champion, right? At the moment.
Would you
could have just called the title the WWE Championship. There you go.
Would you have liked it if they brought back the television championship?
No.
Okay. Because that would have been too.
That's the problem. It's a gimmick championship, and that's where the problem lies with this title. It's supposed to signify that you are the best of the best.
What about the WWE people? That was another name I heard go banded down.
No.
Is the name the problem? Like,
the name is
with Raw. Raw Championship. We have a problem being referred to as the Universal Championship.
Yeah, it's as you said. You're laughing just by saying that name.
I know it's weird. I mean, unless they have to nail the belt design. Like the belt design has to be like something completely awesome and something you want to buy. Pop $400 down on WWEshop.com to own. Like,
I would never, if I was a pro wrestler, I would never sit there and go, I want to be on the Raw brand because I want to be the WWE Universal Champion.
no, I don't. You're right. I don't. I want to hold the WWE Championship. Like,
Basically, I want to be on SmackDown because they've got the real World Championship while you've got this shitty...
the shitty belt that Big Man came up with. Cause...
I literally, that's why I think Stephanie probably had a meeting with a bunch of guys. They sat there, some intern said it, and
the WWE,
like, I love that name.
WWE Writers Meeting Championship.
Yeah, and everyone is probably just like sitting there too scared to say anything to Steph.
Yeah.
When the fact is, you're sitting there going, well, you had a World Heavyweight title. Why don't you just bring that back? You know, they wouldn't even have to use the same belt. They could use a different design for the belt, like they did with the ECW Championship. Just
God. Don't remind me of that awful looking ECW Championship.
But you know what I mean? The name.
And you're talking about the silver one, I hope, not the one that looked when they originally brought the brand back, and it was more like the old.
The silver.
The silver one, that was awful.
Yeah, that really was. At least the first design looked. It looked like a little more of an updated the old ECW title from when it went under.
It looked like a belt buckle.
But that's the thing. You're looking at the
WWE belt buckle champion.
WWE belt holder championship.
When you're looking at that title, guys, when you're looking at the title in the Universal Championship, that title, that name does not scream, I want to be the best of the best. And that's where the problem lies. Hell, you know, if you basically just called it, you know, because again, he's the World Heavyweight Champion, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion on SmackDown. They could have just called it the WWE Championship. They wouldn't have to do anything else. And they just went, nope, we're going to call it the Universal Championship because that 16-year-old kid intern.
The universe.
It's insulting. It really is. The NXT title actually sounds better than the Universal Championship.
Ugh. Anyway, let's move on from this. Let's stop talking about the negatives, because that is really, to me, the lone negative of Raw. There were some awesome moments that happened.
Yeah,
two fatal four-ways with amazing talent during the night. Finn Balor won one,
yes,
and Roman Reigns won another.
Kind of.
And you see Roman coming back with that big beard and everything, you know, looking kind of rugged.
Looking like
he just got done spending a month off somewhere?
No, he looks like Jason Momoa now in the Aquaman trailer.
Pretty much.
That's what they kind of look like.
You know, that everything about Raw is new. The announce table is back up by the entrance stage.
I like that too, by the way.
Yeah, they have done a great job of. It is a new era. Like I said, new theme song. The ropes are red and Raw again. On SmackDown, they're blue. Both the stages are different. The setups are.
It's a complete overhaul. People were complaining about how the product, and they need to do something to freshen up. All right, well, this is what we do to freshen up. We just do something that we always go back to two brands competing each other. And the first week, Raw had a great episode their first week, again, because we had all the design changes that they made, all the new additions of talent, Finn Balor making his debut and winning, and now being in the WWE Universal Championship match at SummerSlam
against Seth Rollins, who gets an automatic spot.
Which, because he's the man, because he's the number one draft pick.
Yep.
Which, again, I kind of thought somewhere in the back of my head that once this Fatal 4-Way match was set up, that maybe Finn's going to do the job for Roman Reigns, and they're going to get Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, one more time for this.
Nope.
And Roman Reigns, again, that was the second part of his shit sandwich that he had to eat, put over Finn Balor clean. And I like how they even do it. He kind of looked like he was just like, man, I respect that guy. I want to come back and I want to go get him.
Yeah, I want him to beat. I want him to beat Seth Rollins because I want a crack at that title.
Yeah.
So.
There's no animosity.
No, it's I don't know how well it's going to get, Roman over it, because he's still going to have to do a lot. And, booking has done him no favors to get him over with the fans.
But this weekend, I think it should go to quell some of those boos, I think. There's always going to be people that are going to boo him.
I think it's really going to... They're going to have to do a lot and build him back up to be, a top guy. I don't. He's not gonna get pushed all the way down the low card hell and fucking. He's gonna be a social outcast or some bullshit like that.
No, that's never gonna happen.
Exactly. He's gonna basically be knocked down a few pegs, and he's gonna have to work his way back up.
Yeah, he's gonna work a mid card feud with somebody. Like we're gonna try and go over in our head who could possibly face at SummerSlam, because we've got to figure everybody else has an opponent already. Maybe Bray, maybe. Oh wait, no, Bray's on SmackDown, right?
Yeah, he's on SmackDown.
He's on SmackDown. Maybe Braun Strowman, maybe who knows? Maybe who knows? It will be an interesting development though for Roman going forward.
Yep.
Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins for SummerSlam main event for this Universal title. I mean,
I like it.
The match itself has me interested, despite the fact the title has a completely ridiculously stupid name. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Finn Balor has already made a hell of an impact just getting drafted, you know. This pretty much a Raw that was booked by Triple H, because we also had a women's title match.
Yep, that was my fourth and final point of Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
We had the women's title match.
Charlotte with Dana Brooke into Intercorn until Sasha pulled some Eddie Guerrero shit.
Again, this was another match. Dare I even say another match of the year candidate?
Yeah.
I mean, certainly it's going to be talked about for a long time. I think this is one of the things that Monday Night Raw had to do in this quote-unquote new era. They had to come out guns blazing.
Yep.
And some people say this should have closed the show with how good this match was.
I think I had told you on Snapchat after I saw it happen that I think they should have saved it for SummerSlam. But the more I'm thinking about it...
They couldn't wait 4 more weeks of that. Like, they had to do something right then and there.
Right. The more I'm thinking about, it's like Raw had to do something to really set the bar, and Sasha Banks winning the title. I mean, you were probably not going to find a bigger Sasha Banks fan than me, outside of maybe Snoop Dogg.
I know two. I know one. So much so that he was willing to Photoshop his own picture over the now infamous FaceTime screenshot of Bayley and Sasha Banks talking to each other. So I know 1 or 2 that have done that. So yeah, those are
okay.
I would classify them as super fans.
All right.
Yeah, congratulations, Sasha. I mean, that match she pulled off was absolutely great. There was debate on whether or not, like, Charlotte was, like, smiling at the end of it, but, you know, you can't help but be happy. The two of them put on a great match, and she was watching her friend, you know, relish in, like, her lifetime achievement. So she couldn't help but call it smiling. The camera angle wasn't much. If anything, it was lack of paying attention to the camera angle. But once, you know, the camera was on her and she knew it, she had to kind of have the stern face, kind of crying, kind of.
Yeah.
Look.
They definitely caught Sasha or Charlotte at a wrong moment. It's like.
Well, it was camera positioning, exactly what it was. I'm sure sure Charlotte didn't know they were going to go to the shot of the camera right. We should be right in front of it. So I'm sure if she was looking at that moment, she was happy for her friend.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't really paying attention to, you know, anybody. Not really anybody could really see her face other than camera people from that angle. So it was an oversight, but I'm not going to let that overshadow the match.
No, I'm like, it's like, well, that's mostly production's fault. I'm not going to worry about that. You know, there was also a great image of Sasha and Bayley fighting over Nakamura. Like,
oh yeah, well no, like the shot of Charlotte, or the shot of Sasha waving bye-bye to Dana Brooke as she, like, catches the title and, like, they done in, like, the total Eddie Guerrero callback, like, that was
brilliant. I felt that really, really added to the match. And I will say this, and one of our posters on Wrestling MMA Revolution, Jennifer Rees, actually said this. She believed that match should have capped off the show, and I agree with her because, one, that was the only title being defended on that show, and two, progressiveness, people. You know, the Womenolution and all this and that. It's supposed to be progressive. If that capped off Raw with the Sasha title win, it probably would have made the show better than what it was. It was a great show, but it would have been amazing.
I think
best draw so far this year.
I think that would have gave away the ending, though, because I think if you figure they put that match on in the main event, you figure you can know the ending. The fact that they did it, I like how now the 10 o'clock hour of Monday Night Raw has been the main event. Like, there's usually 2 matches that go on, and those are usually 2 matches that Bill builds up to. Not one of them. So you kind of say that kind of was the main event. I guess it was a co-main event of the evening. But,
It should have been the main event, I think. We all knew when she was getting touched.
I don't know, man. I think them setting up for what they're going to do in the future and setting up for the main event of SummerSlam probably takes precedence over.
I just think the main event, the Universal Championship tournament, could have gone on at any point in the show, but they went that way instead. So, you know, it's what happens. It's the way that it goes.
Yep.
But I feel that they could have done a lot more with it, you know.
Yeah.
So, the way that I want to see it, the way that I would have booked it, would have been having that at the end. I think Balor winning, great. You know, I enjoyed that immensely. I think Roman Reigns losing.
And it was a great match.
And
a great match too, by the way, too. That Reigns and Balor had too. And I think I think all the people that say Roman Reigns can't wrestle, can they shut up now?
They won't shut up because there will always be Roman Reigns haters.
The thing is, I think he's developed a heck of a lot. Is he the total package and the guy that can carry the company? No. Is he a good wrestler? Yes. He knows how to get in the ring with the best of them. He can work with the best of them. You know, so I haven't got an issue with that at all.
All right. So Raw was great. We all agree with that. SmackDown had to do it, or else, you know, they're losing ground. What a SmackDown counter with Shelton Benjamin's coming back to SmackDown.
Yes.
It was rumored, and Shelton shot those rumors down. Teddy Long basically rumored that both he and MVP were going to be back. MVP shot the rumor down, Shelton shot the rumor down, and then we see a promo for Shelton Benjamin on SmackDown that he'll be returning.
Because they kind of had to, because...
Well, I'm glad because I've got a funny feeling Shelton's going to be inserted into the main title picture, and that's what I want. That's what I think everybody wants. If you're a wrestling fan and you know who Shelton Benjamin is, you want this man to achieve what he never achieved before, which is to become WWE champion.
Yep. You know, it's going to be interesting. You know, we had Rhino make an appearance on SmackDown.
He made an appearance as well. I mean, SmackDown, if I had to handicap it, after the first leg of the race, if you're trying to handicap this race, I'd probably say Raw has a significant lead over SmackDown, just over what they did. If I was again scoring it, Monday Night Raw won the week.
Definitely. I mean, SmackDown did definitely advance some storylines. We do have a number 1 contender, Dean Ambrose, and Dolph Ziggler.
Scratch my head on that one. Okay. I'm not going to I'm just saying that's an interesting direction to go. As you know.
Well, considering how badly they've, non-pushed Ziggler.
I guess like one of those things. Like, hey, you've always wanted us to push Dolph Ziggler. Okay, now we're going to get pushed Dolph Ziggler to the WWE title. Are you happy now? Are you not sports entertained?
Yeah, I guess there was a segment involving the women and Eva Marie. Pornhub yet, but...
No, well, because the Pornhub can't afford Eva Marie. We all know that there's no way she wouldn't do anything. Well, I don't think she would do porn anyway because she's apparently a very religious person.
So what makes me laugh about her was the fact that you had all these amazing women wrestlers come out and say, yeah, we're the best. And then you had Eva Marie came out at the end, and I just went, ugh.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
Becky Lynch, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Eva.
I think we're going to probably see a new women's division coming on SmackDown. I think they will have their very own women's division, or they're going to try and have the women's title go back and forth. Who knows?
Do they bring back the Divas title? Do we?
No!
Fuck no.
No!
I just ruined Nick's
I
life.
would just, you know what? I would rather they just call it the Women's Championship and have it as the women's division on SmackDown or something like that. Don't.
That just gets too confusing then. The WWE Women's Champion and the Women's...
I don't think you should. That still, there's only a handful of women on each side,
bounce
so
the
I think
fucking title over from both sides. There you
that's
go.
what I think needs to happen. I definitely think at some of these other cross-brand pay-per-views, we do need to see more number one. We'll maybe see a number one contender on SmackDown. We'll see one pop up on Raw. You know, maybe these cross-brand ones, they'll have number one contenders, fatal four-way or something, and so there are.
Well, it's funny that we are still going to see brand-specific pay-per-views come back, and SmackDown has already been announced for the September pay-per-view. It's going to be Backlash. That's Backlash is going to come back.
Yeah.
Those were from the early 2000s WWE pay-per-view Backlash, and that whole...
Well, now they don't have to worry about
Which
money,
is
do they?
historically
They don't have
the
to worry
one
about
after
pay-per-view
WrestleMania.
buys. All they've got to worry about, just pop it on the network. If people buy it, they buy it. If they don't, they don't, And that's the great thing about it, because they tested it at the water with the network specials. I think that was kind of their way to kind of reintroduce the new brand pay-per-views and have as many freaking brand pay-per-views as they want. It's going to be a good thing. I think it will also allow storylines to progress a bit.
Because the brand split originally, I remember you would have a Raw pay-per-view, I'm trying to think of one right off the top of my head, Unforgiven. And in that time on SmackDown, they would be building their storylines and building their feuds up until their next, whether it be SummerSlam or it'd be fucking No Mercy or whatever pay-per-view, it may be. So this whole brand split thing isn't really never inherently a bad thing, because if you allow more of these storylines to progress, and it's not just, we are champion, the Intercontinental Champion Miz retained. Okay, who's going to be the number one contender? Baron Corbin, you're in the,
Yeah, you know what? As long as this doesn't lead to bragging rights going back, I did not like the bragging rights. I don't think it was...
I hated it too, because it was it was Survivor Series. That's literally what pay-per-view was.
It was Survivor Series light.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of, at Survivor Series, you can do a 5-on-5 Raw versus SmackDown match. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. And also, I'm thinking as well, this is also giving a lot of opportunity to newer talent. Like, you had Kalisto doing amazing things on the SmackDown brand,
Do a lucha thing.
Yeah, he did an amazing thing. I think he could be a top contender for the Intercontinental Championship. You've got a lot of great talent. Zack Ryder was fucking, he was in the main event, man. He nearly made his way to...
Well, let's talk about that. Zack Ryder
Yes.
also had one of the greatest boxes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it looked like he slipped and, fuck, I was going to punch him in the head.
Too much.
I don't know what happened with that.
I'm going to go for the broski elbow. The move he basically stole off of one of the Briscoes, where he does that kind of Eddie Guerrero frog splash elbow style thing. But, I think it's Mark Briscoe who does that.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically was doing that, and he did it, tried to do it, fell off, started punching him in the head, and then went from there. And I didn't have an issue with it, I had no issue with it whatsoever. I think what happened.
I do. It was so dumb.
He recovered rather easily,
Yep.
He had to.
Yeah, and made kind of a name for him, and basically made a name for himself. He did everything he could to kind of get himself through the match, and it worked. It was a good match. It made it made me stand on the edge of my seat. Do I feel that Dolph Ziggler was the right choice to be, the guy going for the WWE Championship? Yes, because it's going to be a very competitive match. Do I think he's going to win it at the pay-per-view? Probably not, but it was still good.
Yeah, but I think this is only another, contender for Ambrose, because I think at some point AJ Styles is going to win that WWE title, and by then Gallows and Anderson are going to be the tag champions.
Oh my God. 2016 is awesome.
Yes.
For wrestling, yeah. So, it's gonna be a good thing. The brand split is working, it's magic. SmackDown, I felt, probably wasn't the superior show in comparison to Raw, because Raw had a lot more to prove, I believe. And the fact is, we had on Raw, we had one authority promo, and then the rest of it was just talent. On SmackDown, we probably had two authority promos, because we had the one promo at the start of the show, and then we had the promo with Shane and Heath Slater where he got gored by Rhino.
God,
that was to kind of further Heath Slater's storyline at the moment, because he's trying to get himself signed to a brand. But I enjoyed it. I felt SmackDown was good. Was it amazing? Probably not. It was good. It was a good show. I think where we go on from SmackDown is we need to start developing more storylines and more talent.
Yeah, we're going to have American Alpha.
Yeah, and we need to start establishing certain divisions that are going on there as well. And I think on Raw, we need to put the primary focus now on basically the talent that they have and building upon that, because you need to have the World Championship. I'm refusing to call it the Universal title. The World Championship needs to be contended against Rollins and the Demon himself, Finn Balor, and they need to basically build up a feud between the two, have some good promos going on from there. I wouldn't have any of these guys touch each other until then, and I think you need to build up the US title division, you've got to build up the cruiserweights, you've got to build up the women's, the tag titles, and on SmackDown you've got to also build up those sides as well and see where it goes from there. And I think progressively both shows are on the right path.
Final thought, and then we'll do an Iron Sheik tweet of the week. With what we know, matches we know now, Finn versus Seth for the Universal Championship, Dean versus Dolph Ziggler for the WWE title.
Yep.
Excuse me. And
I'm going to assume Charlotte's going to
be
for the SummerSlam.
I wasn't going to throw it in because that was kind of obvious that wouldn't be the SummerSlam main event. No offense to the women.
Well, I thought I was kind of getting an idea what Slam should be like.
Again. Okay. No, this is my question. Of the matches that we know now, Seth versus Finn, Dean versus Dolph, Brock versus Orton. What's the main event of SummerSlam right now?
It's going to be Finn and Rollins.
Yeah, I agree with him.
I can see them going off the air SummerSlam, crowning a brand new champion.
Agreed.
I think we're all locked up with that, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Iron Sheik tweet of the week.
Iron Sheik tweet of the week.
Fuck him! I talked to him! I want to know, are you the man or are you a fucking piece of shit? No good motherfucker! Fucking bullshit! Bullshit, Hulk Hogan! I'm the rare all-American gold medal.
Sesame Street, you break my heart. I learned the English from the Bob. I suplex the Big Bird if I ever see him. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your Iron Sheik tweet of the week. Iron Sheik not happy with the people at Sesame Street, apparently. Who would you?
Damn. Anyway, that's
fucking bullshit!
Yeah, we are. Might as well wrap this shit because we've hit everything we needed to.
Yeah, man. So go plug and get on the road, man.
Yeah, Burhan, you gonna plug anything, or did we just lose him? Nope. Burhan, you have anything to plug?
No. We lost.
Nope. I fucking did. Anyway, so over on YouTube, Pegasus 187, and now it's I'm sorry. YouTube Gaming Pegasus 7, Twitter Gaming Pegasus 187, Facebook Nick Horaceck, Wrestling/MMA Revolutions, the Facebook group, Instagram, Xbox Live, Wii U Pegasus 187, the Extreme Enigma on PSN, and I am actually followed on Twitter by Felicia. So, yeah.
What, you trying to start some shit or something?
No, I'm just like, I just looked and she started following, like, oh, cool. Yeah.
Oh, nope. I think she's following me too, but I don't think any one of us is confident, brother. I don't think either one of us is professional.
Like, I have a shot.
I edit that part. I don't want to talk shit. That poor girl. Barely know her. She's a nice girl. She came to a Ace Pro Wrestling show.
I know, yeah, because I saw her Snapchat that time.
But awkwardly reffing.
Yes.
Trying to keep my breath and not pass out.
Yeah, that was
not get crushed by
I was like, oh shit, that was Brandon. So
yeah, edit this part out. All right, so you can listen to me on the Nerd Chronicles every week on the SoundCloud. Check out the Dumbbell Productions Podcast Network, TPPN. Check us out on Facebook. It can be Nerd Chronicles with a K. Oh, Silver. This is what happens when I get stody during the episode. I'm going to go mute myself. So yeah, go support independent wrestling, no matter where you are. I guarantee you, if you live in civilization, guarantee you within driving distance or some reasonable travel time, there is professional wrestling being provided to you, available to you at a low cost. It is a affordable, non-family arrangement, and what better way to support people trying to live their dream by supporting pro wrestling at its basic level. You will see maybe some stars of tomorrow and maybe some stars of the past. All in all, a good night can be had by support independent wrestling. I guarantee you, without it, we wouldn't be doing this podcast.
Yep.
That's it, man. Enjoy everyone's weekend. It's summer time. Go out, be safe.
Yep.
You know, have fun. Look safe.
Put on sunscreen, please.
Before broke. Put on sunscreen. You know, drink it reasonably. Don't do stupid shit with fireworks. Yeah. That's those are all fair requests, I would say. So, for Broken Michael Burhan, who has been deleted from this podcast.
He's been deleted from this call, yes.
He's been deleted from this call. For Nick Horaceck. For everybody else back at Slamcast, I'm Brendan Liggan saying go forth and spread beauty and light. Play my theme song. Let's go home. Pow! Welcome to the post-Battleground, the first Battleground of the new era. Let me start that let's start that over again. That was shit.
Take two!
That intro was absolute garbage. Zack Ryder, that intro.
Oh!
Botch City. All right.